SCPI stands for Saturation Church Planting International. The nature of our ministry is that we give birth to movements in other countries around the world. We're attempting to assist national churches and citywide gatherings to disciple their whole nation. That is, to bring to Christ every man, woman, and child whom God is preparing to be brought to Christ. I am regularly astounded by what I see in the hearts of men and women who are responsible for networks, some of whom carry tens of thousands, some millions of believers on their backs, and the responsibility they have to see those people live the gospel and tell the gospel. But the most encouraging part of the ministry, in spite of the great encouragement to see this in huge numerical ways, is what goes on at grassroots level, to see what goes on in local churches that God is using to live out this kind of lifestyle, to see people picking up for the first time in their life the importance of their life lived in distinction and the importance of their grace testimony. I'm reminded recently of the story of one of our key leaders in one of the states of India who had to take a long TukTuk ride. He thought, well, I've got this man for a half hour, I might as well share the gospel with him. So he shared the gospel, and by the end of the TukTuk ride, the man had become a follower of Jesus Christ. And so he left him and took his name and his addresses and kept contact with him. The man went back to his village because in this country, in India, these people live in villages, collections of peoples who do the same kinds of things. So this man lived in a village of TukTuk drivers. Went back and began to share his faith, and it wasn't long before 100 of other people from his own village had become followers of Christ. He said, what do I do? So, well, I organize a church. And so he did that. And then he began to think, well, you know, my village is not the only grouping of TukTuk drivers. So he remembered another village of TukTuk drivers and went over there and began to share his faith. It wasn't long before another 100 people became followers of Christ and started another church. And before the year was out, this man had seen well over 300 people become followers of Christ and had planted 3 churches, all of them connected to TukTuk driving. Those are where the real inspirations come. To be able to see the life of ordinary people transacted at a level that transforms other people's lives, and to see the gospel take traction in their decision making and see that be transmitted to so many other people. So through this living and this telling, the church is able to come to a point where they can repeatedly give to every man, woman, and child the opportunity to come to know about the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the gospel, and come to be reconciled to God. What God wants doesn't change. He still wants that repeated opportunity. So we've had tremendous opportunity to be those who give birth to movements in nations for what God wants to do. It's a privilege to stand behind and see God do something that many don't think is possible, but God does.